Spring is in the air. Can you feel it? Can you smell the flowers coming out? Everything is turning rather nice. You can see now in the garden everything is looking rather spring-like, as we are now officially in springtime. Welcome once again. This is English Addict coming to you live from the birthplace of the English language. You know where it is by now. It is England. Hello. We are back together again. It is so nice to be with you once more on YouTube. Hi everybody, this is Mr. Duncan in England. How are you today? Are you okay? I hope so. Are you happy? I hope so. Are you feeling well? Do you feel any pain today? Now this is a very personal live stream because at the moment I am suffering from pain. More of that later on. So I hope you realise I am going to a lot of trouble today. I am suffering personally by doing today's live stream. That's all I can say. By the way, it has nothing to do with my tooth. Believe it or not, my tooth is now okay. It has stopped hurting. However, I do have pain somewhere else in my body. I wonder if you can guess where it is. It might be in my brain. Sometimes when I use my brain, it does become very painful up here, especially when those brain cells have to suddenly spring into life. Talking of which, it is springtime. I feel very happy, even though I am suffering pain at the moment. Poor Mr. Duncan. I need some tender, loving care because let's face it, I'm not getting any around here. That's all I can say. More about that later on. So my name is Duncan. I talk about English. You might say I am an English addict, and I am. I love the English language so much, and I hope you do as well, for more than one reason, not just because it gives you a chance to watch my super duper live stream, but also it gives you the chance to improve your life. That is what I always say about English. English can open many doors for you. It can give you many opportunities. For example, joining this live stream, chatting to other people on the live chat right now can help you to improve your writing, your listening by listening to my conversation, and of course by making new friends as well. One of the things I always feel proud of is the fact that over the years I have brought many people together, many people who did not know each other in the past, but now they do. They are now friends, and that is because of my video lessons, my live streams, but also because of you being interested in the English language. So I suppose you could say that I can prove very easily how useful English is, because it is a very useful thing. By the way, please give me a like. If you like this already, I've only been on for about 4 minutes, but if you like this already, please give me a lovely like. It would be ever so nice. Spring is here, and I feel quite excited about that. Already, Mr. Steve has gone into the garden. He's been in the garden all morning, and he's been doing lots of things, and I'm just wondering what Steve has been doing. I'm sure he will tell us. By the way, here is your warning. Mr. Steve will be here in around about 20 minutes from now. So for those who are a big fan of Mr. Steve, there he is, look, having a little dance. He will be with us a little bit later on. I wonder if he will be showing some sympathy to me, because I am in pain. You might not believe it, and I have to say, I feel as if I'm doing a very good job of hiding my pain, which just happens to be the subject we are covering today. We are talking about pain, words, phrases connected to pain. We can have pain, real pain, something we feel, and of course we can have pain that can be described as figurative. So something that is not real, but it is being used as a way of expressing something. So there are many ways of using the word pain. Mr. Steve will be here at around about 2:30. How has your week been? Have you had a good week? I'm wondering if you've had a good week. By the way, yesterday was the anniversary. You might not remember this. I remember it very well. Yesterday was the anniversary of the start of lockdown here in the UK. So it was 4 years ago. Can you believe? 4 years since we went into lockdown here in the UK. So this is something that affected everyone here. Of course, around the world, many people were becoming more and more aware of coronavirus, and each particular country was taking certain types of action. So yesterday, the 23rd of March, was the day that the leader of this country told us all to stay at home. Do not go out. Do not go to work. Stay at home. 4 years ago. Yesterday. Can you believe it? I can't believe it was 4 years ago. But it was. Way back in 2020. So do you have any memories? Do you have any effects from that time? Now, I know here in the UK, many people are still refusing to go back to work. Isn't that strange? So there are people here still, 4 years later, they are still avoiding going out or going to work or having too much social contact. And it would appear there are more people now staying at home or not working at all here in the UK than ever before. Certainly since before the coronavirus came along and lockdown was introduced 4 years ago. Yesterday it started. Oh dearie me. What can you say? Oh, hello to the live chat. Thank you for joining me. Nice to see you here. Who is first? I wonder. Oh, hello. Vitas. Now there's a surprise. I wasn't expecting that. Congratulations, Vitas. Look what I have here. Can you see? Yes, I have some hot cross buns, hot cross buns. There are two. Mr. Steve and myself will be eating those later on. Of course, next Sunday, there is so much going on at the moment. Have you noticed? Many things going on. Next Sunday is Easter Sunday, which means, well, first of all, it will be Sunday, and I will be here on Easter Sunday. Also Mr. Steve, and we will be eating lots of hot cross buns and hopefully maybe 1 or maybe 2 Easter eggs. Alex as well. So what about you? Are you celebrating Easter next weekend? Are you going to have something nice? Maybe a chocolate egg, or perhaps one of these lovely hot cross buns. Ooh, I have to say, I'm looking forward to next Sunday. It is Sunday, by the way. We have a new visitor behind me. Can you see? I'm not sure if you can see him, but there he is. Today we have joining us in the back of the studio, we have Buddha. So can you please say a big hello to Buddha? He's here joining us in the studio. Apparently it is good luck if you rub your hand on Buddha's tummy. Apparently if you do that you will have good luck and good fortune. So I might try that later. I need all the luck I can get, if I was honest with you. So I am looking for sympathy today. Can I have your sympathy? Can I have your warm love? Because I am in pain. I'm sure someone today will say, Mr. Duncan, it is your age. It is because you are getting older. So I have done something to my body, and I've injured part of my body. So at the moment it looks as if I'm standing here all happy and merry, but I'm actually suffering a little bit. More about that later on. Can I also say hello to Quitabe? Also Francesca. Hello Francesca. Nice to see you here as well. We have Beatrice. Hello to Beatrice. It's nice to see you here today. Charlotte. Hello Charlotte Martin. Hello to you. Nice to see you here as well on the live chat. Of course, he is here. We are talking. Luis Mendez is here today. Hello Luis. Nice to see you back here as well. We also Palmyra. Palmyra is here today. It's so nice to see you all here joining me on this Sunday, even though I am not feeling very well. I was going to cancel today's live stream because I wasn't sure if I could do it. More about that later on. Maruts. Also we have Pedro Belmont is here today. Christina. Hello Christina. Nice to see you here as well. Rosa. Nice to see you here. Tit. Did I just say that? Thitluin 2. Now I hope I've pronounced your name right. If I haven't, I might try again later. Hello to you. Where are you watching at the moment? And a big hola to you as well. There is a new YouTube channel coming very soon, and guess what? It will be my new YouTube channel. There is a new channel being launched next month in April. A new channel, a new way of learning English, a new way of teaching English. Video lessons just for you. I will be presenting them, and there will be some extra features that you can use as well. All of that coming up. Also, I will be talking about merchandise. If you want one of these lovely shirts, guess what? You will have a chance to do it very soon. Not today, but soon. You will have your own English Addict t-shirt. Hello also to Bakar. Hello Bakar, nice to see you here. And also a couple of more mentions and then we will carry on. Honor Werk. Hello to you. Thank you very much for joining me. So spring has officially arrived. A lot of people today are outside in their gardens because the weather, I will be honest with you, the weather is quite nice today. It's not too bad. So there is the weather at the moment outside. Looking out of the window at the back of the house, you can see now The daffodils are coming out, even though they have been somewhat damaged by the wind, because we've had a lot of wind. And also, if you look carefully at the tree, you can see there is lots of lovely white blossom coming out now on the damson tree. So the tree in the garden now is coming out into blossom, and there is no doubt that spring is definitely in the air. And I have to say, I feel rather pleased about it. Very pleased, in fact. English Addict is here. You will soon have a new YouTube channel, which will be me on the new YouTube channel, teaching English, talking about English, all of that coming. I've been so busy doing it, despite the fact that I am in pain. I am looking for sympathy today, so I hope there will be some sympathy coming my way, because I am in pain. Hello also to Josep Sola, who says, hello, welcome spring. Hello, Mr. Duncan. And of course, Palm Sunday is today. For those who are following that particular festival. And of course, next Sunday, it is Easter. Easter Sunday. Lots of chocolate. Lots of hot cross buns. Lots of food, basically, to be honest with you. Two more hellos. Hello, Adelina. Hello, Adelina. Thank you for joining me today on the live stream. Mr. Steve will be here. Don't worry. He will be on his way. I will give you another warning now, just to show you that I am truthful with my promise that Mr. Steve will be with us very soon. Patrick. Hello, Patrick. Can I say a big bonjour to Patrick? Thank you for joining me today. And Mr. Steve and myself send you all of our best wishes. Hello also Alamgir as well. Wow, a lot of people joining today. Thank you very much. It's so nice to see so many people here on the live stream. Claudia. Hello, Claudia. Are you cooking something today? I wonder if you have been in the kitchen cooking something nice. Mr. Steve yesterday made his special lentil curry yesterday, and it was absolutely delicious. It gave me a lovely warm feeling. I don't know what it is. Sometimes if you are feeling unwell, or maybe if you feel a little bit of discomfort, I always find that food is a nice way of making yourself feel better. It makes you feel better if you eat something nice. Maybe a little treat, maybe a nice hearty meal, maybe something that makes you feel better afterwards. So I always say that if you are feeling a little bit unwell or a little bit under the weather, I think sometimes having a nice meal, something that warms you up inside, can make you feel so much better. I can't believe it is 4 years, yesterday, 4 years ago, that everyone here in the UK had to stay at home. Mr. Steve and myself, I'm going to be honest with you, you might not agree with this, but Mr. Steve and myself, we were actually quite excited in a strange sort of way, because we knew that it meant we could spend every day together. So Mr. Steve had to start working from home during lockdown, which meant we were together every day. Until, of course, it stopped. And then Mr. Steve had to go back to work. Hello, LT. LT Die. Hello, my English is very bad. Well, don't worry. Relax. We are all here to help each other. So I'm sure there will be people here on the live chat who will help you. So don't worry. Relax. Enjoy the entertainment. Hello, Christina. When you are feeling unwell, I think it is important to have a person to take care of you. I think so. It is nice, even if it is just a kind word. It is. Sometimes you just need a little bit of reassurance, or maybe just a kind word in your ear. It can make a lot of difference. So I do agree with you. Wow. Qatiba says, we have Ramadan here in the place where I live in the world. A lot of festivities taking place. Easter, there is also Ramadan for those who are following Islam. And of course, a lot of people are just excited because spring is coming. It always changes the way people feel. Yesterday we went to the local garden centre and we noticed that everyone was quite happy and friendly. Everyone was saying hello to each other in a very happy way. So I have a feeling that when spring comes, I think people change their attitude as well. So I think people are more friendly to each other. Nora asks, Nora, hello Nora, are you speaking British or American? I think you are English. I think you are British. Yes, I am British. I am Mr. Duncan in England. That is the clue. So yes, I am British. I'm British. I'm speaking English because there is only one English. Don't forget that. American English and British English are English. There is only one English language. However, there are many different types of accent. Never confuse those things. Pasky. Oh, hello. Is it Pasky? Hello, Pasky. Is it your birthday today? Hello, Pasky, and happy birthday to you. Where are you at the moment? I'm rather interested. Oh, I see. So Familia says, hello, Mr. Duncan. Here is Ivan with my daughter, Pasky. And it is Pasky's birthday today. 8. Wow, I'm so jealous. I would give anything to be 8 again. So can I say happy birthday to Pasky? Have a nice birthday. Have a good birthday from Mr. Duncan in England. How is your English, Pasky? Is it good? Maybe it's better than mine. You never know. Mr. Steve is on his way in a few moments. So I hope you are looking forward to that. I will put the warning on the screen right now. So there it is. There is your warning telling you that Mr. Steve will be with us in a few minutes from now. Hello, Tarot. Hello to Tarot Destroyer, who says that hand gestures are useless. Really? Okay, thank you for that. I need that advice. When I woke up this morning, I was hoping that someone would give me some useful advice like that. So thank you very much. Hello, Nora. Nora Hassan. And once again, a big happy birthday to, and I want to get your name right if I can. Can I get your name right? I will try to get it right. Anyway, Pasky. Happy birthday to Pasky. Thank you very much for joining me. Mr. Steve will be here in a few moments. We are taking a break. Of course, we will be having a look at those lovely cows. And maybe Mr. Steve cutting the grass in the garden. All of that coming in a moment. And then after that, we have 1.5 hours of Mr. Steve and myself. And today we are talking all about pain, words and phrases connected to that very subject. Don't go away. Mr. Steve is doing the lawn. He's cutting the lawn because he likes cutting the lawn, you see. By the way, if you like Mr. Steve, guess what? You are in for a little bit of a treat any moment now because he is on his way. It is true that Mr. Steve is slightly mad. Just ever so slightly mad. Talking of Mr. Steve, guess what? Guess who is coming up now on your screens as if by magic? Yes, it is him. Are you ready? I hope he's ready for me. I hope he is. I've managed to plug Mr. Steve in the right hole today because I got it wrong last week. Here he comes. It is Mr. Steve.
Hello, wonderful viewers from across the globe. I say that every week, Mr. Duncan. And welcome to you too, and hello to you, Mr. Duncan. Hello to everyone. It's great to be here. It's a lovely day outside. It feels like spring is on the way, which it is. I've been in the garden. I've been putting plants in. I've been doing all sorts of things to keep myself fit and healthy, Mr. Duncan, and now I'm here sitting down in the chair having a rest, talking to you and all your wonderful viewers across the universe.
It is true, you do seem very happy today.
Well, I'm high on life, Mr. Duncan.
Really?
High on life.
Well, I'm glad someone is because I am not. I am not high on life. Shall we tell the story, the sad story of me?
What was that, Mr. Duncan? Sorry, what?
Yes, thank you very much for that. I was talking about that a few moments ago, about sympathy for someone who is not feeling very well. I have injured part of my body. You might not believe it. I'm standing here at the moment and I am in pain as I stand here. I know what you're going to say. Mr. Duncan, watching your live stream is always very painful. Well, guess what? I am really suffering today for it because I have managed to injure my back. I don't know how, but it's something that's been annoying me for the past few weeks. And yesterday we were going out for a walk, weren't we, Steve? And I was bending over to tie my shoelace, and suddenly something in my back snapped or twisted, and the pain was absolutely unbelievable. I can safely say that I've never, in my whole life, I've never felt pain like it. And I'm sure it has something to do with my age, but it was just that moment, just that very brief moment of just reaching down to tie my shoelace, and everything just in my back. It was horrible. It was so painful, and the pain is still there. So I've taken some medicine, something to ease the pain a little bit. But I have to say, it is still painful now. So as I stand here looking all happy, inside I'm in pain.
Mr. Duncan, yes, you were crying. Literally, you were shouting out in pain.
It was.
I've never seen you quite as pained as in that much pain.
I was distressed. Steve, the word is distressed.
Yes, we had to abandon our walk.
Yes.
And yes, you took some strong painkillers, which didn't agree with you. And
yes, anyway, we'll talk. I was going to say, Steve, I was able to take something. I took something. Then we went out later to the garden centre, where everyone was surprisingly friendly. Weren't they all friendly yesterday? Everyone we met.
I think you had taken so much codeine that you were just talking to anyone randomly.
It
Mr.
wasn't,
Duncan
though. Some
was.
people. No, you're wrong, Steve. I disagree. People were talking to us as well. They were all friendly because spring is in the air, and I think it makes people more friendly. But you are right. I was slightly high on codeine, and later on when we got back home, I was ill because I took some codeine to relieve the pain. But of course, for some reason, I have a feeling my body does not like it, because I felt really unwell and sick, like the last time. Do you remember the time I took some painkillers before I did a live stream, and then I had to run into the garden to vomit, and then I came back in and carried on with my live stream?
I do remember that, Mr. Duncan.
And that was the same thing. That was the codeine. So you do have to be careful.
We've switched to ibuprofen, which apparently is recommended. I think you've pulled a muscle. That's what's happened, Mr. Duncan. You've pulled a muscle in your back that's been weakened over the last few weeks. And yesterday, bending over to tie your shoelaces was the final straw, as we say. The final straw. There's a good expression. It means the last thing, doesn't it, that results in something bad happening.
Yes, we often mean the breaking point.
Yes.
So the breaking point of something, the point at which something breaks, or maybe the thing that is causing a problem really does become a big problem. We say that thing was the last straw, because that one moment of time pushed everything over the edge. It was the breaking point.
Yes, Saturino. Codeine is like morphine. You are correct.
Yes.
And it's not really recommended for back. Well, it's not really recommended at all.
No.
Because you can get a little high and addicted if you are not careful. But anyway, yes, we're here. You're here. You're a bit better today, but your back is still painful.
Yes.
Can I just say, while we're on, hello to a few people that have said hello to me. Quataiba Aref, thank you for saying hello to me. Nora said that she was waiting for me to come on, which is very nice. And Pasquale says Happy Palm Sunday to us all. Yes, to us as Christians, then it's Palm Sunday. We've got no palms, but are we supposed to eat anything special today, Mr. Duncan?
I don't think so, but Palm Sunday is normally when people will proceed. They will proceed. Normally there is some sort of procession, normally with a cross, and then other people will carry palm leaves.
Yes.
And then, of course, the following year you will burn those palm leaves, and then you put a mark on your forehead. And that's why we have Ash Wednesday, which comes earlier. So that is the relevance of that. And yes, today is Palm Sunday. Next Sunday, Steve, you know what it is next Sunday? Easter. Yes. You know what that means, Steve?
It means the C word, Mr. Duncan.
Sorry?
The C word.
That's a bit harsh.
Yes, chocolate.
Oh, I see. Thank goodness for that.
Chocolate, and I have purchased an Easter egg for us, Mr. Duncan.
Oh.
And it's hidden somewhere in the house.
Oh, no.
A surprise Easter egg. Although from what I've been reading today, too much carbohydrate is not good for you. But we will...
Boring.
But we will indulge for Easter, as we always do, because that is what Easter's for, eating lots of chocolate. But I mean, it's not actually for that, but that is what it's become.
That's what most people do.
Yes.
Well, of course, a lot of people. I don't know why. I'm sure this is also a little bit of the religious aspect. A lot of people eat salmon at Easter, and I have to say, I don't think I ever had salmon during Easter as a child. We used to have a Sunday dinner, a big roast dinner, but we never had salmon. So I find that quite interesting. But a lot of people do eat salmon over Easter.
Yes, they do. Yes, salmon is, well, at least in the UK, it's seen as something quite expensive. Chicken's probably the cheapest meat. I think it definitely is. So a roast chicken or turkey is fairly traditional for Easter. But we may well have a chicken if I can be bothered to do a roast dinner, because roast dinners take a long time to cook.
And the other thing, we're doing this.
And we're doing this. So yes, probably are we? Yes, we are. That's right. So we won't be having a roast dinner, I don't think, because it's a lot of time commitment to do a roast dinner. And if we're doing the live stream, we won't have time. It's the same at Christmas. You cook a turkey. Oh, it's just you're there in the kitchen all morning.
Yes. You know what, Steve? Sometimes it is so much trouble to make a meal, because you spend the whole morning doing it, and then you eat it in just a few minutes. Yeah. Oh, Palmyra says, now if you remember, Steve, Palmyra had an accident. She fell down the stairs and broke her ankle. But Palmyra says that, did you know that when I fell down the stairs, I broke my ankle, but my back pain disappeared? And that is something that can happen. Pain can sometimes cancel other pain, because it is a weird thing, isn't it? So pain is something that I still think people don't quite understand how pain works. What's wrong, Steve?
Well, I think what probably happened is that Palmyra fell down the stairs and it reset something in her back that was causing the pain.
Really?
That's probably what happened.
But I think
she probably had the equivalent of some kind of back manipulation, and it probably relieved something that was a bit out of joint. I don't know. Maybe
Steve, that's what I need. I need to throw myself down the stairs.
I'll do it.
Maybe my back will be better. I think Steve wants to push me down the stairs. Yes, maybe. We will try that out afterwards, Steve.
Well, Palmyra, shall we tell you the very quick story of a friend of ours? Stairs are very dangerous things.
Yes, I don't think we need to...
Well, I was just going to say a friend of ours fell down the stairs and broke his neck.
Yes.
And had to have all sorts of operations. So, yeah, be careful on the stairs.
Stairs. So many people every year die on the stairs in their house. They fall down the stairs. So stairs, I think they must be one of the most dangerous places in the house after the bathroom. You will be amazed how many people injure themselves and die in the bathroom from slipping over on the floor, or of course in the bath itself. You can slip over. You can. I think it was Whitney Houston, wasn't it? Didn't Whitney Houston die in the bathtub? So it just shows, doesn't it?
Yes, she was probably,
Other things were going on.
Other things were going on.
But I'm just saying. Everywhere in the house there is some sort of peril, something that might cause you to fall or trip or have some sort of injury. So yeah, the stairs. Of course, a lot of people, when they get to a certain age in this country, Steve, a lot of people will move into a house that has no stairs. It will all be on one level.
Something that is quite common now for people to have accidents on stairs is that they are texting on their phone. So
Yes.
we had a talk about this at work, because a number of people at work in head office, I don't work in the head office, but stairs at head office, a number of people had broken ankles and had injuries going downstairs, particularly going downstairs, because they were simultaneously texting on their phones and thus not concentrating on what they were doing. And apparently there's a large number of people who are distracted with their phones now, falling downstairs and tripping up on pavements. And I mean, I had a friend that crossed the road and was texting and got run over by a car.
Yeah, I was about to say that. I'm sure there must be more accidents, especially in the street, from people just not paying attention to the world around them. They're just looking at their phones whilst walking. You do see it all the time. You see people, their head is buried in their phone and they're not even looking where they're going. So I would imagine there must be lots of accidents caused by people being distracted by their mobile phone. And of course, driving, Steve. Driving.
Well, yes, I mean, that's illegal.
Yes, but people do it still.
People do it, yes, they do. I mean, you see lorry drivers doing it,
Yes,
32-ton lorry drivers driving down the motorway on their phones.
Yeah, a lot of people still do it. Drivers of all vehicles, they still get distracted and they want to send a message.
I was going to say something then about I've forgotten I forgot what I was going to say now, Mr. Duncan. You distracted me, but never mind. What a pain!
Yes.
That is an expression I'm no doubt that you will be referring to later on as we discuss pain in great detail.
Yes, it is an interesting subject. Also, a lot of people can get pain in their lives without any reason. So there are people who suffer from pain in certain parts of their body, and there is no reason or explanation for it. And this is one of those things I mentioned earlier. Some people still don't understand how pain actually works, because with some people they get pain and there's nothing wrong with them. You can just get pain in certain parts of the body. And I have to say, I don't recommend pain ever. I know there are some people who like it, but that's another story altogether. But I don't like it. I would say that I have a very low threshold of pain. So when we talk about threshold, we mean a level. So under the level, it is okay. But over the level, it is not okay. So a person might have a very high pain threshold, which means they can take a lot of pain without worrying or feeling too unhappy. But I would say that I have a very low pain threshold. So any pain, anything, it always makes me feel really down or unhappy or just unwell, to be honest. I think you're the same, actually, Steve, aren't you?
I don't know. I don't know, really. I wouldn't like to say. I don't know. I mean, I can tolerate pain. I pulled my neck last week, which happens occasionally, and it was painful for most of the week, but wasn't as painful as your back, Mr. Duncan. That was very bad.
Yes.
You're going to have to. rest that for a few weeks. Although apparently I was reading about that bad backs. The worst thing you can do is sort of stay in bed. You've got to exercise it to encourage it to heal.
Yes.
But obviously take the painkillers as well, which I'm sure are helping. Are you in any pain now, Mr. Duncan?
Yes. As I'm standing here now, because I'm standing up, and I stand up quite a lot. I think that might be one of the reasons why I do get back pain, because I do stand quite a lot. When I'm editing or working in here, I normally stand up. And of course now I'm standing whilst presenting this. But the problem is if I sit down, the pain is even worse. So whatever I do, it's painful. But yes, I am actually in pain at the moment. I have a pain right here on the left side of my back, and it's
oh.
Thank you, Mr. Steve, for your thank you for your sympathy.
It's a very good question from Rosa here. Thank you, Rosa. The words pain and ache, how do we use these?
Well, I might be talking about that a little bit later on.
Because they are different.
We are, yes. Pain is something that might be constant, and ache can be something that happens, but it might not always be there. It might come and then go. So it's more of a sensation, whereas pain is something that is definite. But ache can cover a large area. You might have an ache.
I've got an aching shoulder.
Yes.
It's annoying, but it's not painful. You just get that sort of strange feeling, of an ache.
Discomfort.
It's a discomfort, whereas a pain is you actually get something which is much, much worse.
Pain is more definite.
Yes.
Ache is normally something that comes and goes over a certain general area, but it's not actual pain. So you can just get aches, especially as you get older. And I'm waiting for someone to say this. I'm surprised you didn't say this, Steve, that Mr. Duncan, it is your age. And I think it does happen. As you get older, yes, your joints do start to wear a little bit. There are things you can do. Keeping active, as Steve just rightly said, even if you have a bad back, you should not stay still. You should not lie down for too long. You can rest, but you should also keep active. So that is what I'm trying to do with my bad back at the moment. I'm trying to stay active. Oh, I wish I hadn't done that.
Beatrice is diagnosing you. Beatrice is suggesting that it's the sciatic nerve, which is the. Thank you for that, Beatrice. We did. I did think of that. My mother used to suffer with sciatica, which is the trapped nerve in the back. But I don't think Mr. Duncan has that because the symptoms. You don't seem to be the same. I think Mr. Duncan has a pulled muscle. From what I read, just Googling, which is, I think Mr. Duncan needs to probably see a doctor, but you tend to get sort of numbness down the legs if it's the nerves and sort of other symptoms. So Mr. Duncan only has that pain in the back. I think he's pulled a muscle.
Yes, I think it is because it occurred at a very particular moment. So it isn't something that's just been happening over time. It is something that happens when I'm doing a certain thing. So I could feel yesterday when I bent over to tie my shoelace, as I reached forward and went down, I just felt this. It was like a crunch. I felt this, and it was as if two muscles were going in the opposite direction, but they didn't want to go that way. And then, of course, what happens is the muscle will then contract. It will go into something called a spasm. So the muscle will go tight, and that will cause pain because the muscle is doing something that it's not supposed to. And then you get the pain, and that's what's happening. So my back has definitely, something has gone wrong. I might have to go to the doctors. I might have to have someone do a little bit of massage or something.
Yes.
Maybe you could do it, Steve.
So Inaki has suggested that you need a physiotherapist, which is probably will come to that.
Yes, I think so.
But we also have Marcia here. Marcia Helena Miranda Cardozo Podesta,
Wow.
to give her full name.
Well done. You did a good job of that.
Well, that's for Marcia to say. Works in pain pharmacology.
Oh, my goodness.
Mr. Duncan, I teach about pain and the pharmacological ways to alleviate it. So, yes, well, that's very helpful, Marcia. So, as Mr. Duncan has said, he started off against my advice because I looked it up about back pain, and apparently you should take for back pain ibuprofen.
So what does that? So that is different because that just relieves the pain itself, the inflammation.
Yes, it's an anti-inflammatory.
Whereas codeine is something that is affecting the pain receptors in your brain. So it's altering that, which is why sometimes if you have something like codeine, which of course contains opiates.
Marcy is the expert. We defer to Marcy. If you defer to somebody, it means you allow them.
Yes.
They're the experts. So if Marcy is teaching about pharmacological aspects of pain, then she's the expert. Of course, you've got to be careful. I know Marcy is going to say you've got to be careful with ibuprofen and those kind of non-steroidal anti-inflammatories because they will cause stomach problems.
Yes. Well, I'm not having too many.
But you're not having too many.
No.
But
I had all I've done this morning. I had 2 this morning.
What do you recommend, Marcia, for Duncan's? If he's pulled a muscle in his back, what do you recommend? A hot water bottle was recommended.
We've got one.
Which we went out and bought yesterday. So, I mean, we're not experts at all.
No.
But
although I feel as if I'm starting to be an expert already, just from my personal experience.
So if it was a pulled muscle, Marcia, what would you recommend? And I suspect, according to the NHS website, they said to take ibuprofen. But I can't take that because it will give me instant stomach problems.
Yes.
So
well, it's like all medicine, I suppose, isn't it? Even the most basic of medicine, it can have some sort of effect. But at least I think it has worked to a certain amount. I think it has relieved the actual pain as such, the swelling, as it were. But it's still painful standing here now. So I am suffering today, by the way. I'm suffering just for you.
Saturino suggests a medicine called All-In. So I've not heard of that. I will look it up because it's probably got some component in it, some medicine in it, which will have a different brand name in the UK. So I will look that up.
Yes.
And see what that is. It might be something that you can buy from the chemist.
Yeah, of course you can just put something warm onto it. So there are many things you can buy. You can heat up maybe a small thing in the microwave oven and then put it on the aching part. Or of course, as we did, we've bought a little water bottle, which I'm going to use later. I'm going to put it on my back to help me. And of course, the best thing of all, Steve, we have the electric blanket. So I can actually go upstairs and lie on the bed for 10 minutes with the electric blanket underneath, warming my back up. So that's really good. I have to say that has been the biggest help of all. And of course, I've had some tender, loving care from Mr. Steve.
Let's not go into that. Right, yeah, a couple of people are suggesting that you need to strengthen your back for, long-term protection. Because if it's strengthened, then it will be less susceptible to getting pulled muscles if the muscles are stronger. So long term, Mr. Duncan, this is what I think you need to do. You need to do exercises that strengthen your back muscles to make them more resilient.
Yes, stronger.
You want resilient to these issues, and then they won't. So we've had. I'm just going to read out. Tom Rocks has said swimming lessons. Swimming obviously will strengthen your back.
I can't swim.
You can't swim. I don't think that'll work for Mr. Duncan.
No.
But
can I just point out a very delicate thing? I am slightly, once again, I am a little overweight as well, which of course these days I think it is a common cause of back problems in many people. So if you're carrying slightly more weight than you normally do, that can also cause certain types of stress and strain on your back. So I know I've put a little bit of weight on, not as much as last year, but as soon as the weather gets better, I will be going out more, taking more walks, and again being more active. So I have to say, it might be slightly my fault, and I don't mind admitting it. Yeah.
Harno Verk says do the child pose, which I think is probably yoga you're suggesting there. Yes, yoga is very good for strengthening muscles in the back, particularly, and your core muscles, I think. I do a bit of yoga. And I found actually my back used to be very susceptible. If I used to go and do some gardening, I would get a bad back. But I have been working on strengthening exercises for a long time now, and I find now that I don't get that. So yes, I think long term, what Mr. Duncan needs to do is strengthen the back muscles, keep them flexible with certain exercises, and then you will lower the chances of having these problems in the future.
I think yes. I think a lot of that advice is very good. So thank you very much for getting involved with that. We are talking about pain, very specific. So everything going through all of the words, all of the phrases that can be used when we are talking about pain, and of course we can use it literally as a real thing, or we can use pain figuratively. So that's what we will be looking at in a few moments.
Oh, you won't like this from Claudia.
Okay, Steve. Oh, I know what you're going to say, by the way. I was going to say that afterwards. We have a lot of things going through. It's 3:00. We're going to have a quick break, Steve.
Okay.
So I can stretch my back. And hopefully I will still be here in 3 minutes from now. Let's have a break with those lovely fluttering flags of the world, and then we will be straight back here talking about words and phrases connected to pain. Don't go away. We have some controversy here at the moment in England because the England football squad, their football strip, the costume or the outfit that they wear when they're on the pitch, has been redesigned with a different version of the English flag, which of course, as I'm sure you know, is a red cross. But apparently it's been changed. And it's caused all sorts of controversy, to be honest. It is English Addict, and I am here, but also there is someone else here as well today joining me. It's Mr. Steve.
Yes, hello there. Belarusia has suggested something which I think you couldn't possibly ever engage with, Mr.
What
Duncan.
has Claudia said?
Claudia has said or suggested that it is sugar that is causing... Well, there is a lot of... Claudia said that sugar is implicated in inflammation throughout the body. And,
Yes.
and that is true. There's a lot of people are writing about this now, that sugar causes inflammation in the body and thus can cause health issues. And of course, as everybody knows, Mr. Duncan is quite a fan of sugar.
I like chocolate. I like sweet things. I like eating anything that is sweet, to be honest with you. But I know this. I am aware of this. But I don't think this is connected to it. I think this is definitely a combination of being slightly unfit and also just getting a little bit old, you see. So
Christina has said it's recommended to move around and never to stand still in one position, which of course is what you're doing.
That's what I was doing just. So whilst the flags of the world were fluttering, I was moving around the studio doing some stretches and some movement to try and keep it... Ooh.
Arnica gel, I've heard of that, Christina. We shall look that up.
We have something similar here, don't we? That you put on, and it's like a deep heat cream.
Arnica, I think it's like a natural medicine. Arnica.
Oh,
I think it's like a natural medicine because you can get the ibuprofen gels to rub on or creams, which I think are quite good. That might actually be better. Actually, we might try that. Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Oh yes, perseverance, says Inaki. Perseverance is needed to strengthen your back through exercises. Yes, it's not going to happen it's going to take months, literally months.
yes, I think it will slowly build up. But I do think, as I said, I think my general health, taking some exercise, a little bit of exercise as the weather gets better, because we haven't really been able to go out very far because the weather has been awful with rain, and a lot of the land around here is now underwater, so it is very hard to go out for walks. But spring has arrived. I think it's next Sunday, is it, Steve, that the clocks also change, so we go forward 1 hour, which is good, because that means lots of people who are watching on the other side of the world over towards Asia will be able to join us earlier. So it's great. So I think it's next weekend, not only Easter, but I think also the clocks will change here in the UK. They spring forward at this time of year. So 1 hour ahead next week. Don't forget that the time might be a bit different for you, where you are in the world. We are looking at an interesting subject today, Mr. Steve. We are looking at words and phrases connected to something that I think we all have from time to time. We all get sometimes. We have pain today. Some people might say that it is painful watching this, to which I reply, fiddlesticks. Pain is what we are talking about, Mr. Steve. Words and phrases connected to pain. So lots of words, lots of phrases. I realised, now I designed all of this myself, and I I realised that maybe that looks a bit like blood. I'm not sure if it is or not, but it wasn't supposed to be. But now I've looked at it on the live stream, I'm starting to think maybe that looks like blood, but it isn't. For those who are wondering, it is not. It is actually paint, but unfortunately, it looks a little bit like blood, but it isn't. Okay, before anyone complains. So, Mr. Steve, we are looking at words and phrases connected to pain.
Right.
Pain. You can get all sorts of pain in different parts of the body. The word pain describes severe discomfort. So we often see pain as something that is not gentle. We never think of gentle pain. We never hear anyone use the term gentle pain. So pain is always something that is seen as negative. So any level of pain might be seen as discomfort, or to a degree maybe severe. So that's a great word, by the way, isn't it, Steve? Something that is severe.
Yes, so often if you go to a doctor or a clinician, they will want you to, if you say you've got pain, they'll want you to rate that pain on a scale, maybe like 1 to 10. 10 being the worst pain you could possibly imagine, 1 being very mild, and they will often ask you to say on that scale, what is the level of pain?
I think at the moment my pain is 11. So I think it's gone.
I don't think right now it's 11.
Well, it's not far off.
Well, yesterday you were in so much pain yesterday you couldn't think. You couldn't speak. You were shouting out.
That's it.
So I think you probably were on a 9 or a 10 yesterday.
Yes.
You've probably come down to, I don't know, I'm not you, but I would suggest it's down to a 6 or 7 maybe.
Yes, it's. I would say it's in the middle. Yes, it's pain. It's there, but I can cope with it. I can manage the pain, which is something that we often have to do. So the word pain describes severe discomfort. So when we say something is severe, it means it is something that is annoying, or maybe persistent, it doesn't stop, or maybe something that is just more than it should be. So we all get pain from time to time, maybe a little bit of pain here and there, but severe pain or severe discomfort is something that then becomes annoying, something that you don't like, something that can make you feel really unwell. Something severe is serious. Severe. So you can have severe storms, severe pain, severe starvation, severe, something that is really, really serious. The feeling of sharp or lingering discomfort. So there is another good word, Steve. Lingering.
Or lingering pain.
Yes. So what does it mean? If something lingers...
It stays around for a long period of time. It doesn't go away quickly. It's there. It stays there. If something lingers, if a person lingers around, you can describe them as somebody that doesn't leave. They're supposed to have left, but they didn't. Why is that person? Why is John still lingering around in the office? I thought he was going off to see that customer. Lingering, it means you're extending your stay. It's staying, something's staying for longer than it should do.
Or it is not going away.
It's not going away.
So the feeling of sharp, we've all had that, sharp pain. Maybe if you have to have an injection, maybe in your arm, or if you're having dental work done, you might have an injection, a needle. You might feel that is sharp. The pain is sudden, but brief, so it doesn't last very long. Sharp.
Bye,
pain.
Beatrice. Beatrice is off.
See you later, Beatrice.
I hope you remain pain-free until next week.
Yes.
Yes. I've lost my train of thought. Lewis is having pain in his teeth. Maybe he's had a sharp pain. Toothache can be like a sharp pain, can't it?
Yeah.
It means it comes on very quickly
Yeah.
and is very noticeable.
And it can stay around for a very long time. So that is something we're looking at in a moment, believe it or not.
Oh, I got a sharp pain in my stomach, might say. Oh, a sharp pain. Suddenly comes on from nowhere. It may not linger.
No.
It may, or a sharp pain in your foot. I mean, if you get cramp in your foot,
Yes.
that's a sharp pain.
Well, we'll look at that in a moment.
Okay.
Steve, pain can be felt in any part of the body. So it would be fair to say, I think, that anywhere, any part of your body can have some sort of pain, some sort of sensation of discomfort. So I don't think there is anywhere. I wonder what the most unusual place is that you can actually feel discomfort or pain. I wonder what is the most unusual place, a part of the body that never has pain. So there might be somewhere. I can't think of anywhere, because I imagine at some point in our lives, Steve, we've had pain everywhere, any part of the body.
Well, there are parts of the body that can't feel pain, and the brain is one of them. Apparently, somebody can do an operation on your brain, and although the brain is the obviously the organ that receives the signals and tells you about pain, it doesn't actually. If you actually, were to stick a knife in your brain, you wouldn't feel it.
Okay.
Because apparently it hasn't got pain receptors. And I think parts of your guts, parts of your intestine, I don't think can feel pain. I don't know, but certainly your brain can't. I know that's true.
Yeah. Because I've seen there was a documentary I watched once of a person having an operation on their brain, and they were awake. They were awake, and someone was operating on their brain, and they were they get the person to count or recite something, and they have to keep talking, because they have to make sure they're not damaging any parts of the brain whilst they're poking around in there.
Have you noticed sometimes you can injure yourself and you don't realise you've injured yourself, and you can get quite nasty cuts, and I've noticed suddenly you're bleeding and you think, well, I didn't feel that. Sometimes you can injure yourself and not realise, and you don't feel any pain straight away. It's quite odd, that.
That's true. I've had paper cuts on my finger, and I've just noticed it was, and I go, well, how did I do that? Sometimes you don't even know how you did it. You don't remember even doing it, and you find that there is a little cut on your finger or something. I hate paper cuts, by the way. They're horrible things. I hate the feeling when the paper slices into your skin. It's
Hank Seed. Hello, Hank Seed. I haven't seen your name before, so thanks for putting that comment in. Yes, your hair and your nails, of course, you don't feel pain in those. Although if you were being tortured, certainly at the base of the nail, you can feel pain.
Yes,
because a popular method of torture is to pull your nails out.
Very, very good.
And if you pull your hair out, that's painful. But the actual hair itself and the actual nail itself, of course, there's no pain in that.
So the actual place where the hair grows from does feel pain. Yeah, that's true. In fact, I think the hair and the nails are actually made of the same material, similar material.
Christina's on the top of a mountain.
Wow.
At the moment, and it's freezing cold. I think you're on your bike, aren't you, Christina? So Christina's going to follow the rest of the lesson later. Well, have fun. We know you love going on your bike out in the mountains.
Okay.
And we hope that you don't get frostbite and get the frostbite pain.
Okay. That's some good advice there, Steve. So, hello, Christina in the mountains. Did you enjoy my echo then? Very nice. Canonista. Hello, Canonista. I don't recognise your name, Canonista. There is a syndrome called Riley's Day or Riley Day that people can't feel pain. It is weird. I saw an article last week. There was a young girl, very young girl, and she cannot feel pain in any way. So anything you could do anything to this girl to injure her, and she couldn't feel it. So I think that's quite distressing because you would never know if you injure yourself. So I think pain is a very useful thing, isn't it? Because it tells you that part of your body has been injured in some way. So that's the reason why pain is very good, because it stops you from injuring yourself. So it is a kind of defense mechanism, I suppose. But
yes.
Of course, it keeps you away from things that are dangerous. That's the first lesson you learn as a child, isn't it, Steve? Stay away from the fire. The fire will burn you. And sometimes you have to learn the hard way by touching the fire and getting burnt.
But we do have different people do have different pain thresholds.
Yes.
There are definitely some people who can withstand pain more than others. And of course, those people tend to say that those who feel pain more are wimps, but they don't realise that probably themselves they've got a very low pain threshold naturally, as I think some people do. But other people tend to feel pain more and suffer more from it. And we're all different, so we're all going to have different nerve endings and different receptors in the brain. It's all going to affect the way we perceive pain.
Okay. Steve, on the screen now, damage to a nerve causes pain to be felt. So that's the reason why we feel pain. Wherever there are nerves in the body receiving the feelings or sensations, then you can feel pain in those areas as well. I suppose we always think of the skin, don't we, Steve? Because that has lots of nerves. So that is probably the place where we often think of getting pain or having some sort of pain. So a nerve is a receptor. Now you use this word just, didn't you, Steve? Receptor. So a nerve is a receptor of touch or sensation. So it can be a nice feeling, a soft feeling, or of course at the other end of the spectrum you can have pain. So something that is soothing, something that feels nice, and something that feels unpleasant. So there is, as you said, there is a scale, a sort of scale from 1 to 10. So 1 is little pain, very little pain, almost no pain. 10 is absolute pain. It's really, really painful indeed. So a receptor is something that is sensing that thing, or receiving, I suppose, is a good way of describing it, would you say?
Yes, from my days in learning about biology, I think there are different pain receptors. Some respond to heat, cold, injury, that sort of thing. I think there are different pain receptors in the skin.
And again, they are there to not just help you feel these things, but also as a way of protecting the body from damage and injury as well.
Vitas has come up with a very good, I think it's an idiom, no pain, no gain. Are you going to mention that later?
Well, we might as well mention it now.
That's a very good expression. Is it an expression?
It is.
Vitas, no pain, no gain. That's often used to indicate, as you have said later on, that you don't get something without working hard to get it. And it doesn't mean literally you get pain, although in some instances you might. If you want to become very fit, if you want to become fitter, and healthier and maybe run races or do bike rides.
Yes.
You've got to get fitter, and the process of getting fitter can be literally painful, but the pain is not necessarily indicating that it's actual pain as we know it from an injury.
Yes, you push yourself to a point where you feel that there is pain, but in fact you can go much further than that point.
Well, it's indicating that it's the stress involved in making an effort, which is not necessarily a pain.
No,
literally a pain.
that's it.
But if you wanted, I don't know, if you wanted to do something in the garden, or work hard to get a new promotion, you might. The effort involved in doing that is what we would say is the pain.
Yes.
No pain. If you don't put some effort in,
Yes.
you're not going to get a reward at the end of it.
So it can be used literally as an athlete, for example, or a dancer. So I remember seeing a documentary about these poor kids who join these Chinese. It's like Chinese opera, and I'm sure you've seen it. But quite often they have to do all of these movements, and they start off very young, and they have to do all sorts of really difficult movements, and some of them look quite painful, to be honest. Dancing, if you are a ballet dancer, you have to stretch your limbs almost to the point where they'll break, and you have to get used to that feeling. So you can use it figuratively, or you can use it literally. So
Yes.
I think that's a very good good expression.
Thanks for that. It's a very common expression that people say, no pain, no gain.
Yes.
Sometimes they say it sort of a bit frivolously,
Okay.
to indicate that, if you want to parents will say it to their children.
Okay. I think we've covered that.
If you want to pass an exam, like an English exam,
Yes.
then you've got to work hard to learn, and
Yes.
that in itself is a kind of suffering.
Okay.
Or
anyway,
pain.
I think we've explained that, Steve.
Yes,
Pain can be described in many ways. So we don't just say pain. Pain is I suppose it's a general term for the feeling of discomfort or even hurt. So hurt is I suppose a type of pain. So you can hurt another person, or you can be hurt. So there is a way of using that word in more than one way. So you might have slight pain. We all get it. We all get slight pain. Maybe a slight pain in our shoulder, or maybe in the morning when you wake up, maybe your joints, you might have a little bit of pain. Nothing serious, just slight pain. If you've been for a walk, you might have slight pain afterwards. Nothing serious. So very slight. Something that is not really serious. Something that is not too bad. You might also have coming and going pain. And you can't you? So maybe you, especially here, if you hit your elbow. Have you ever done that? You bang your elbow on something and then you get a weird pain that comes and goes. You might even get something called pins and needles. Pins and needles. It's very strange because you have a nerve here at the back.
The funny bone.
Yes, because
They
it's
call
on
it the funny bone.
because it's your humerus.
And there's a nerve there that if you hit it, we all know that,
Yeah.
you will get this really weird feeling.
Hmm.
It's painful, but they call it the funny bone. I don't know why, because it's a funny pain.
Well, it's because it's the humerus. The bone is the humerus.
But there's a nerve there, isn't there? There's a specific
That's it,
nerve
yes.
there that's
Yes,
susceptible.
but the nerve is attached to the humerus, and that's why they call it the funny bone, because it's humerus.
Right, I see, Mr.
Are
Duncan.
we still on?
Yeah. No, I'm listening. I'm looking at the live chat, Mr. Duncan.
You might have tingling. Now, I'm not sure if this sounds like it's nice. But I would say some of the worst things that can happen to a person normally result from tingling. So tingling almost sounds nice, doesn't it, Steve? It sounds like something that's fun. But quite often tingling as a type of pain can be something that could be serious, or something that is quite bad for you. So you might have tingling after an injury. So it means maybe there is some damage, maybe some damage to the nerve or the limb. So you might have tingling. One of the worst feelings I have, Steve, is when you fall asleep on your arm in the night. You go to sleep on your arm and then you wake up and your hand is dead. It's completely dead. And then slowly the feeling will come back, but it's incredibly painful as the blood starts to circulate around your hand. It's incredibly painful.
Yes, it starts off with that pins and needles feeling. It's like it's like literally someone is putting pins and needles into your arm, which itself is it's not painful as such, it's a discomfort.
Yes.
But then, as you say, as the blood comes back in, it does become quite painful.
Yes.
Stiffness, says Anarchy.
That's it.
Is a type of slight pain. Yeah. If
Yeah.
you've got a stiff joint, it's stiff. It's just like a dull pain, really.
It's very
A discomfort.
often associated with people who are older as well. Here we go, Steve. This is the one. Ache. Now, we all get aches. We often say aches and pain, but to be honest with you, ache is a type of pain. It is a dull, lingering, prolonged pain, quite often in a general location. So your shoulder might ache. So the whole area is just throbbing. It is. That's exactly what it feels like when something aches.
And of course, a headache is a very common pain that people get. A headache. It is pain, and that can vary in severity. You can get a mild headache, or you can get a migraine. But yes, headache is the commonest, probably, form of pain that people get, and backache. Headache and backache, I think, are the commonest forms of pain that we experience.
Yes. That is true. I think, well, that's what I'm getting at the moment. I'm feeling as if my back is it's painful, but I would say also as
Sorry about that.
Did you enjoy that, Steve?
I just had a sneeze.
Bless you.
I think it's because I've been in the garden.
Okay, anyway. Ache. To ache. So I have a pain in my back, but it is also lingering. It is an ache. So you might have a type of ache in your back. It is something that is aching. It is a long, prolonged, lingering pain, and sometimes it can last for quite a while.
Christina Silva, who's not on a bike up a mountain,
Okay.
that's a different Christina, talks about heartache.
Oh.
That's a good one.
Mm.
You've got heartache. Somebody's died. The love of your life has left you, it's almost like there is a pain in your heart. Heartache. You long for a person, or somebody's died, and you do describe that as a kind of pain.
Mm.
It's a pain related to a specific emotion, where or love or loss, and it's a particular type of pain that we feel as humans, a particular type of ache.
Apparently the receptors in your skin are the points where the sensation actually occurs, and of course they are connected to the nerves. Thank you very much for that, Giovanni. That's very kind of you to say that. Yes, you can have aches. So an ache can be figurative, the feeling you have if you feel sad, and also an actual pain, a real pain. Here's another one, Steve. This is something I get, especially at night. Part of my body will suddenly contract. It will become so painful. Cramp. Oh. Now, is there a worse feeling than having cramp? You get cramp in your leg, sometimes your lower leg, that big muscle, your calf muscle, will suddenly go tight and it will contract. And the pain is incredible. And then you have to try and stretch that muscle, which is even more painful. It's horrible. I hate getting cramp.
Yes, you sometimes get cramp if you've overused a muscle. And because we're using our calf muscles a lot when we're standing, walking, if you overdo those muscles, overwork them, they can then go into a cramp when you're resting. I don't know what causes that. Don't know much about that, but you have to try and stretch it straight away, don't you? Because if you don't, it just gets worse and worse.
Well, I remember reading about cramp. It's also a lack of a certain type of the I want to say the electrolytes, but I don't think it is that. But it's something that's keeping that muscle working, and suddenly it's suddenly depleted. And that, I often find that if I cut the blood circulation off to my leg, if I'm sitting in a certain way, then I will also get cramp as well afterwards. So it's almost the result of it. But I don't like cramp. And sometimes it can hurt for a very long time afterwards. So you have the attack of cramp, but then later that muscle is still hurting for a very long time afterwards. So I think it does actually injure. I think it also damages the muscle as well. So we can have severe pain. There are many ways of expressing something that is severe, as I said earlier, serious, something harmful can be severe. So a kind of pain that you really feel and almost you can't stand. You can't stand that particular pain. So yesterday when I hurt my back, when my back did something not very nice, I almost felt as if I was going to be sick. So you can feel sickness. It can have quite an effect on your body. So pain, severe pain. Also, here's a good one, Steve. This is a great word. Agony. So you might describe the feeling of severe pain as agony. Yes. And I think that is a very high point of pain.
That's it. Somebody steps over on your foot, or you drop, any kind of pain. You can say, "I'm in agony." Yeah. Somebody might ask you, how's your pain? And you might say, somebody stepped on your foot, and you might describe that as agony. It's really severe pain.
You might say you are in agony.
I'm in agony.
I'm in agony. I've got a pain in my back. I'm in agony.
Yesterday you could easily have said, "I'm in agony."
Yeah, I was, definitely.
But in fact you were actually swearing instead.
I was definitely in agony yesterday. Stomach pain can be very bad, yes. So the stomach, I think one of the most common pains in the body has to be the stomach. I think we all get it from time to time, some sort of stomach pain, maybe indigestion, or maybe if we're hungry. You can sometimes get pain in your stomach if you are hungry as well. It can feel uncomfortable, especially if you like eating food and then suddenly you stop. It can feel really uncomfortable. So something very painful we can describe as agony. Oh, Steve, you might have excruciating pain. Now there is a great word. The word itself really does sound as if you are suffering. It is excruciating. Something that is so painful. Yesterday, when my back was hurting, I was experiencing excruciating pain. It was really severe, very bad.
It's just, yes, you can use those interchangeably, can't you? Agony, excruciating. Excruciating is it's quite, you've got a good grasp of the English language if you're using the word excruciating. So if you want to impress your friends in the world of English, then you can use the word excruciating. Although we don't wish any pain on you.
No.
That you would have to use that word.
That's it. You would have to be in a lot of pain to use that word.
Yes.
Here you go, Steve. We've got to move on because we've only got 20 minutes left already. I can't believe it. Unbearable.
You can describe a person as excruciating, can't you, Mr. Duncan, as well?
Yes. We might look at that later.
Right, okay.
So unbearable pain, something you can't bear. You can't stand the pain. So again, we are feeling pain that is severe, something that is almost unbearable. You can't take the pain. It is unbearable. Of course, we might say that a person in pain will need relief. You need relief from the pain. You need to take something, to do something, to give you relief.
Take it away.
Yes, like I was yesterday.
If only for a short period of time. You need some period of time where you are getting a rest from that pain, or an absence of pain, or at least a reduction in the severity.
Yes.
And that's why they often call things painkillers, pain relievers, because they're giving you a break from that pain, giving you a period of time when the pain is gone. And it might not go completely, but at least it gives you a reduction, a period of time when you can, at least not have to experience that, because it is stressful. Pain is stressful.
Oh, gosh, yes.
And it's very upsetting to be... Saturino says have bananas because they're very good for cramp. And lack of potassium and magnesium causes cramp, according to people on there. Thank you, by the way, for saying bless you to me when I was sneezing.
Why do we do it, though? It's because of when we had the Black Death.
Somebody asked that.
The Great Plague. People used to, because of the religious aspect of that particular phrase, bless you. So if a person appeared to be ill, so if you sneezed, they would say bless you as a way of saying, look, get better, don't be ill. So it was kind of saying, don't worry, he'll take care of you, bless you. So and apparently it came around when we had the plague, the Great Plague.
Right.
I believe it was also called the Black Death as well. So you might use all sorts of things. You might use certain things, as we mentioned earlier. Heat and also cold can be used to relieve pain. So as we found out yesterday, Steve, certain types of pain can be treated with cold, something cold that you put on. And other types of pain, you will use something that is warm or heat. You will put heat on it. So it's interesting to note that certain types of pain can be relieved with cold things. You will often see on the football pitch, if a football player injures themselves, they will come out with something made of ice or a pack filled with ice, and they will put it over it to relieve the pain and stop the injury getting worse.
Stop the swelling.
And of course, heat. Heat is a very good way of relieving pain, especially back pain, I think. As I found out yesterday, Steve.
Yes, it certainly worked for you.
Definitely. Medicine. Medicine. Many types of medicine, such as painkillers. So as we mentioned earlier, the word painkiller is a general term, isn't it? For anything that you might take or maybe apply. So even something you put on your skin to relieve the pain could be described as a painkiller
or pain reliever.
Pain reliever.
But a painkiller suggests that it is really getting rid of the pain. It's killing the pain.
So we talked earlier about the most common type for severe pain is, of course, morphine. And, of course, that is a type of opiate. So opium, can you believe it? Opium used to be given normally as a treatment, as was, I think it was cocaine as well. Cocaine used to be given freely to people as medicine until they realised that it was also very addictive and would eventually destroy your life. But I do find that rather interesting. So we do have opiates that are there to relieve pain. So I think they actually act on your brain, don't they, Steve?
Yes, I do. Yes, I mean we want Marcia to tell us about that. But yes, I don't know whether they work in the brain. I think they probably work at the level of the brain rather than at the level of the receptors.
So it's sort of
themselves.
Hence the very nice feeling you get when you take painkillers, because it doesn't just relieve the pain, but it also can make you feel quite relaxed as well. But you can't use them all the time. That's the reason why you can't buy them in this country, can you, Steve?
No, if you go to the chemist, you can only buy really paracetamol and ibuprofen.
But what I'm saying is you can't get the strong painkillers unless the doctor.
No, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, you can only over the counter. You can only really get paracetamol or ibuprofen or the gels to rub in.
Yes. So
if
the
you
really
want something stronger,
the really strong stuff, only the doctor.
Like Cocodamol or something, you have to go to the doctor for that because they are very addictive.
Well, of course, in the United States, they have a big problem with addiction to painkillers, and this has been going on for many, many years because they give them out almost like sweets in the United States. Everyone has painkillers, and there is now almost an illegal trade in painkillers. I think it's a certain type. I think it's fentanyl. Fentanyl is a type of opiate. And apparently that's the big thing now. I believe it's actually manufactured, so it's an artificial thing that's created, and it's apparently it's very, very addictive. Pain can also be figurative. I wish I could say that. I wish I could speak today. Figuratively, something, Steve, that is figurative. So pain can be real. It means you can feel the pain. But also it can be figurative. So we are expressing pain figuratively. There are some interesting ways of doing that. Something might be, Steve, something might be a pain in the neck. So you might have a real pain in the neck, but also as an expression, we can say that something is a pain in the neck, which means
like a pain in the neck would be annoying.
Yes,
a person can be a pain in the neck. You can describe somebody. Will you go away? You're a pain in the neck. You can say to somebody. It's not a nice expression to use for somebody. But if somebody is annoying you, sort of talking all the time, maybe you're trying to concentrate on something, they're just annoying you. Will you go away? You're a pain in the neck. You are suggesting that they are annoying you, like you would get an actual pain.
So
in the
modern use of pain in the neck, we often see something as very annoying or irritating. So you can literally feel it, but also you can experience that feeling by being annoyed by something, which I always find quite funny.
Things can happen in your day. It doesn't have to be a person. Say you drive somewhere and somebody runs into your car.
Well, that would be a pain, yes.
And you've got all the hassle of sorting all that out. Somebody might say to you, "Oh, what a pain in the neck!" Or something you might it doesn't have to be referring to a person. It can be to an event that happens
Yes.
that is going to make your life more complicated for a period of time.
Yes.
And someone can say to you, what a pain in the neck,
Mm.
just to make you feel better. They're empathizing with you about
Oh.
something that's happened to you.
That's it.
You might say, well, I lost my mobile phone. I don't know where it is, or I lost my keys. And a friend might say, oh, that's a pain in the neck when that happens.
Mm.
They're just empathizing with you about this thing that has become annoying in your life.
Or something can be a pain in the arse or the ass.
Yes.
Something is a pain in the arse. Something is a pain in the ass. Again, it's the same meaning.
Same thing as pain in the neck, but
Annoying.
slightly more offensive to some people.
It's very expressive.
It's expressing
Very.
pain in the arse or pain in the bum.
Yes. Yes.
It's the same as pain in the neck, but slightly ruder.
Definitely. So if something is really annoying, we might describe our neighbour or your neighbour. You might say your neighbour is very annoying. They are a pain in the arse.
Or pain in the bum or pain in the backside.
Yes. So
Pain in the backside is a slightly less offensive way of saying pain in the arse.
Yes.
But if you don't want to offend people, use the word pain in the neck.
Although I have to say, Steve, hearing you say that word is very funny.
Right.
Say it one more time.
Pain in the arse. By the way, Vitas, thank you for using the term analgesic, which is a painkiller or a pain reliever. The technical term, or the more correct term, would be to say an analgesic.
Yes.
So anything that relieves pain in tablet or liquid or injectable form is an analgesic.
Mm.
Thank you for that.
So I think that refers to something that numbs. Must be a bit like anodyne. Something that's anodyne is quite dull.
What's that, Mr. Duncan?
Anodyne. Something it's very dull, or something that's of no interest. Something that's boring or dull, or uninteresting. Something with very little life.
Analgesic is the word that Vitas used.
Yes, that's what I mean. Well, I'm just saying that I think that somehow is derived from that. Because we have that painkiller called Anodin, and I think that is a generic. Well, it's a brand name for a type of tablet that you take to relieve pain as well. Oh, yes. By the way, here we go, Steve. We've got to move on now because we only have 9 minutes.
Anarchy, yes. Hemorrhoids, pain in the arse, literally, yes.
Okay, definitely.
Something that we tend to get as we get older.
I wouldn't know that, you see. I wouldn't know that. I wouldn't know anything about that whatsoever. Something painful is unbearable or a difficult thing. As you said just a few moments ago, Steve, something can be painful. So it doesn't mean it's really painful. It means it's a thing that gives you discomfort, something unbearable or something that is difficult. Is painful. Maybe, I don't know, maybe your friend invites you to go and listen to their daughter singing, and her singing is terrible. You might say it was painful listening to her sing that song. So something can be painful without actually having pain in your body, but the thing can be unbearable, something that's terrible. You have to endure that thing. You have to put up with it. You have to take it, accept it. It was painful listening to her sing that song.
I'll tell you what's almost as bad as listening to somebody who doesn't sing very well is listening to somebody who's learning to play the violin. The violin is one of those instruments that it's very difficult to play because you don't know exactly where the notes are on it. I don't play the violins, but at least with a piano, you know where C is or D or whatever the note is. But on a violin, it's sort of guesswork.
But
if you go to listen to somebody who
yes,
a child or maybe somebody who is learning to play the violin, that's painful because the violin itself is high-pitched instrument anyway.
That's it. I'm just showing you now, Steve.
Yeah, I know. So it can be... It can upset your ears to the point of being painful. Yeah, okay, Mr. Duncan.
Is it painful to listen to? I think so. Very painful. It was painful listening to her sing. Oh, terrible. Changing the tyre on a car. So this is just for you, Steve. This is for you. Changing the tyre on a car is such a pain. But why? Why is it such a pain, Steve?
Well, because it takes effort. It's you've got to work out how to do it. You've got to jack the car up. You've got to take the nuts off.
Ooh.
And it's all just annoying. Yeah, that's you're just using that as an example of something that's a pain. I got a flat tire. You're late to work, and your boss says, or somebody says, "Oh, why were you late?" You said, "Oh, I got a flat tire, and I had to change the wheel." And somebody might say, "Well, that's a pain. That's a pain, isn't it?" You don't even have to say pain in the neck. You can just say, "Oh, that's a pain." Doesn't mean it's literally painful. It's just figurative. It might be painful because you might slip.
Yes.
I mean, people don't really change tyres anymore.
Well, yes, it's just an example.
Yeah.
This stuff. We're not about actual sort of changing it, because no one does now. Most people will go to the garage or they will phone someone and they will come.
No, what I meant was
them.
most modern cars don't even come with a spare wheel anymore.
No.
So if you get a puncture, you can't change the tyre anyway.
Okay, that's good. Changing the tyre, or maybe do anything you have to do. Maybe you have to repair something. Maybe something has gone wrong in your kitchen. Maybe the tap is dripping. The water will not stop dripping, and you have to change something on the tap. Repairing things.
Something that happens.
It can be such a pain. It really can.
Yeah, something that happens. It's just annoying. It's unexpected, and you've got to deal with it. It's a right pain.
Okay, moving on.
But it can be referring to a person or a process of something you've got to do.
That's it. Emotional hurt. So again, we are talking figurative, not actual. Even though some people would say that the feeling of being hurt emotionally is painful. It is as painful as actually feeling pain to a part of your body. So emotional hurt can be described as pain, something that hurts you. Maybe a person is rude to you. Maybe they say something hurtful or horrible to you, and you feel pain. Maybe, as you said earlier, Steve, maybe your lover leaves you. They say, "I don't love you anymore. I've found someone new," and you feel pain. It is actual pain. Emotional hurt. Heartache is emotional pain. I think so. Finally, we're going in a minute, by the way. We can have lots of words. We'll look at the words briefly before we go. Pain, discomfort, agony. That is really serious pain. Cramp, a sudden pain where your muscle will go very tense. Stiffness, general pain that you feel normally in the morning. I often wake up quite stiff. I can't move. I have to get out of bed very slowly. And at the moment, I have to get out of bed very slowly because of my poor back. Stiffness. And also, there's an interesting word, jip. You might say that part of your body is giving you jip. It means it is giving you trouble. You are feeling pain in a certain part of your body. So I might say that my back at the moment is giving me jip. It means it is causing discomfort, pain, or it is just something that is generally annoying.
Yes.
Ooh, my
Somebody
back.
might say to you, how's you've had a knee problem. Somebody might say, how's your knee? Is it getting better? You might say, yes, it is, but it gives me a bit of jip from time to time.
Yes. It's interesting.
Gives you a bit of discomfort, a bit of pain, a bit of stiffness. Jip. It's not jip. You wouldn't describe jip as something really very painful.
No.
But it's just like an annoyance, but it could be mild pain.
So
Giving you
maybe
jip.
when it's cold, you might get pain in your knees.
Yes.
When it's a cold day, and that somebody might ask, "Are you okay?" Yes, I'm okay, but my knees are giving me jip today. I think it's the
Yes.
cold weather.
My back is giving me a bit of jip. My tooth is giving me a bit of jip.
Yes, like
Lewis
mine was a few
might
days
say
ago.
that.
Mine was a few days ago. Anyway,
Yeah.
it's time to go. That's it.
Right.
We're out of time, Mr. Steve. We've only got 38 seconds to say everything we want to say. I will be back on Wednesday, 2 p.m. UK time. If my back is okay, I will be here. If not, I will be lying on the bed, recovering. And Steve, you are back next week?
I'll be back. Am I doing anything next weekend?
Well, it's Easter.
No.
It's Easter Sunday, next Sunday.
Easter Sunday, so we'll be probably hyperglycemic with all the sugar.
Yeah.
Although we might save it till after the live stream. Or we could eat it during the live stream.
Yeah, look.
I think we will. We'll eat some chocolate.
Yes. We've got hot cross buns
Next
as well.
Sunday, hot cross buns. We've got those today. We've got 2 left over.
Yes.
So we went and bought them in town. So yes, we'll have those with a nice cup of tea. Oh, they're there, Mr. Duncan.
There they are. So
Oh,
in a
it's
moment,
it's making my mouth water.
in a few moments, we will be eating these hot cross buns. They will be going into our tummy. Thank you very much for watching. If you like this, give us a like.
Yes,
Thank you,
please
Mr.
do.
Steve. We will see you next Sunday.
Bye for now.
That was Mr. Steve, and you can wave goodbye if you want. Oh, there he goes. Parting is such sweet sorrow that we shall say good night until it be morrow, or Wednesday is when I'm back. Thanks for watching. See you again soon, and I hope you've enjoyed today's lesson. I hope it was not too painful. I hope I was not a pain in the neck. And I will now go and relieve the pain in my back, which I hope over the next couple of days will get better. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you've enjoyed all of this. If you haven't, I'm ever so sorry. But don't worry, it's over now. And I will see you on Wednesday. Wednesday, it's me. Next Sunday, it's Mr. Steve and myself as well. Next Sunday is Easter. I can't wait. And of course, until the next time we meet here, you know what's coming next. Yes, you do. Take care of yourself. Keep that smile upon your face as you walk amongst the human race. And I will see you on Wednesday. Thank you very much for watching. I hope this has been helpful. You can watch this again later with captions. Thank you very much for being here today. This is Mr. Duncan in the birthplace of English saying take care, enjoy the rest of your Sunday and the first half of your week, and I will see you soon. You know what's coming next. Yes, you do. Ta-ta for now. See you on Wednesday, 2 p.m. UK time.